Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and this past weekend was Pro Tour Fate Reforged. In case you didn't know, the modern format was just rocked by the bannings of Birthing Pod, Treasure Cruise, and Dig Through Time, I guess. Anyways, everyone was excited to see what new strategies would come out of the biggest modern tournament of the year. Well, even though 28% of the field was solely Obzan, the top 8 was a little more interesting. Let's take a look at these lists. In first place, we have a blue-red Splinter Twin deck piloted by Antonio del Moral Leon, the first Spanish Pro Tour champion. So hype for Spain. In case you didn't know, the deck uses a card called Splinter Twin with either Deceiver Exarch or Pestermite. Since both of those creatures untap something when they enter the battlefield, the Splinter Twin can effectively help create infinite copies. You attach the twin to either creature, you tap the creature to create a token, that token enters the battlefield trigger, then untaps your original creature that has the twin on it, and you do that forever. It's the whole combo, just those cards. The rest of the deck is basically a control shell. Snapcaster Mage, Vendilion Click, Cryptic Command, Serum Visions, these are all cards we've seen before. All in all, not a rogue build by any means, but a cool deck regardless. Second place went to an absolutely insane combo deck that we'll be covering tomorrow in our Deck Tech series. Justin Cohen brought us the now infamous Amulet Bloom combo deck. While this has been a strategy for over a year, most people either forgot about it or wrote it off completely. Yeah, it's a bad idea. The deck uses cards like Amulet of Vigor and Summer Bloom to ramp your mana to irresponsible levels in the first few turns. You do this mainly by abusing the Ravnica bounce lands. See, you can play the bounce land, then stack the amulet trigger above its bounce trigger. That way the amulet untaps it and you can tap it for mana before you have to bounce something. Yeah, it's kind of broken. Once you have a ton of mana, you play a Primeval Titan, grab a few utility lands like Slayer's Stronghold and Sunhome Fortress of the Legion. Then use all of your mana to give your Titan haste, vigilance, double strike, and a +2 power boost. I will go into way more detail in the deck tech tomorrow. The strategy is actually pretty complicated. In third place, we have Yelger Vigersma with the second blue-red Splinter Twin deck in the top 8. His was very similar to the first place version, but he main decked to Blood Moon, basically firing shots at any modern strategy not based in red. Beyond that, there were some differences. He ran Sleight of Hand instead of Peek, he decided against Vendilion Click. Overall, much of the same, but with some tweaks. Fourth place belonged to Jesse Hampton and our first of 3 Obzan decks in the top 8. The deck functions like a classic mid-range deck should. There's early game value creatures like Tarmogoyf, Scavenging Ooze, and Lingering Souls tokens. Once you get into the mid-game, Siege Rhino and Tasigur the Golden Fang, yes, Tasigur, completely take over. Surround these threats with disruption like Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek, and removal like Abrupt Decay and Path to Exile, and you have Obzan mid-range for modern. Add in some Liliana of the Veil and Maelstrom Pulse and you're done. But yeah, Tasigur was a boss in this Pro Tour. For the grindy matchups, he was an all-star, creating card advantage out of pretty much nothing. And thanks to Delve, he can often come down for just 1 or 2 mana. It was an absolute monster. Eric Froelich, right behind Jesse Hampton, ran the second Obzan deck in the top 8. This one, while being relatively similar to Jesse's, did have a few distinct differences. It removed Maelstrom Pulse and 1 Liliana of the Veil. Doing this helped to make room for 3 Noble Hierarch and a 1 of Batterskull in the main deck. He also came down on Abrupt Decay and Thoughtseize for extra room. Moving right along, 6th place brings us a red-white burn deck piloted by Seth Manfield, who started the tournament 12-0. In a new modern format, a decent amount of players went with the relative safety of burn as a deck that's already existed. The backbone of the strategy this time around was a combination of Goblin Guide and Monastery Swiftspear. Both of those creatures did some serious work all tournament long. Other interesting inclusions were Eidolon of the Great Revel as a playset, Shard Volley, Lightning Helix, and Rift Bolt. Beyond that, you can probably guess what filled the rest of the slots. Variations of this card. Bolts to the face are not fun to deal with at all. Our third and final Obzan deck in the top 8 came in 7th place, courtesy of Jacob Wilson. He basically played a Birthing Pod deck without Birthing Pod. I'm not joking. Noble Hierarch, Voice of Resurgence, Kitchen Fink, Siege Rhino, everything that you would expect out of a pod deck was pretty much here. The addition of Wiltleaf Liege was probably a post-ban decision, but it ended up working out as he just flooded the board with creatures all weekend long and beat most players into the ground. The combination of the Liege and Loxodon Smiter also hated hard on anyone running Thoughtseize or Liliana. Also, it turns out Gavony Township and Lingering Souls are a disgusting combination. Yeah, this is modern now. Wow. Rounding out the top 8 of Pro Tour Fate Reforged was Shi Tian running a burn deck almost identical to Seth Manfield's 6th place deck. The only real difference is that Tian ran an additional Grim Lavamancer in the main board and took away from the Skullcrack and Searing Blaze playsets a bit. Nothing revolutionary there. Red deck hurts you, you don't like it, it's Magic the Gathering. Another Pro Tour down, another outrageous combo somehow makes top 8. Amulet combo is hilarious. Trust me, you should check out our deck tech tomorrow on it. What did you all think about the Pro Tour? Better or worse than you expected? I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say, so leave your thoughts in the comments. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.
Wow.